today we're going to talk about the number one reason why you fail.
You smash yourself in the gym and you don't focus on the other factors, which is the attitude towards your own diet.
You don't have to do CrossFit, but if you see that body type and you want that body type, then there is some method in the madness. You might want to try and go down that road. If you like look at bodybuilders, go down that road. If you want to do strength training and be a powerlifter and you like that build, go down that road.
Always the head's on a swivel. I'm like, mate, you haven't got a defender on your back. You're not trying to press away from goal. I'm football mad today.
Because England actually made it in somehow. How the hell did they do that?
Might be coming home. So
if you change the way you see things, the things you see change. Welcome back to the Perform Well podcast. This is the podcast for you if you're looking for performance and wellness optimization so that you can not only smash your career, but also have a better life, better relationships, and better health. We believe that performance and wellness are yin and yang and work together. So listen in as we dive into topics that are going to help you optimize your life for the better. Welcome back to another episode of the Perform Well podcast, and today we're going to talk about the number one reason why you fail. And before we get into this today, what that thing is, this is something that myself and Dan has also struggled with ourselves. And we see it if you're one of those people that is more like conceptual in your mind and more visual, have a think about someone that you like the look of, that you want to emulate after. A lot of our clients. And if we can resolve this one issue, everything gets easier and you don't fail anymore.
it almost aligns so many different factors in your life. Like as much as you can go and train your ass off and absolutely obliterate yourself in the gym and feel so good from getting a sweat on, if your mindset isn't aligned with what you're doing, within that big peak that you start to build up from your positive training attitude, you're going to hit a burnout on a point where you can't maintain it because mentally you're not in the right frame of mind to do it. You're highly motivated and you're acting off motivation, but actually the underpinning reason you're doing it is very false. And I say that with a big kind of like kind heart, very false, the reasoning behind why you're doing it. I think we've seen it a lot in clients.
Yeah, and you guys are probably figuring out what this is right now, based on what we just said. What do you reckon that thing is?
For the failure point. What was yours personally?
What is that number one thing that we're talking about today? What is it?
The reason why you fail. The reason why you fail is attitude.
Yes.
It's attitude. And then we're not talking about having a bad attitude as such. It's just how you approach situations when it comes to training, dieting, sleep, stress. Because a lot of people can become overwhelmed by a lot of those topics, but it's the attitude you approach each of those individual sectors with. Now, for yourself, Nick.
You ready for this?
Go on.
Your attitude determines your altitude. Hear that? Your attitude determines your altitude.
My God. Mind blown. It's deep as hell.
Chris Williamson. Is it Williamson? Yeah,
Williamson. Yeah, I mean, that's a great quote, to be honest, because it is about trajectory, isn't it? It's where you're believing yourself to get to the end point. And like we like to talk about attitude because it's that underpinning point. When you're synchronizing everything, as we're saying, about physical and mental factors, you can then start to propel your trajectory higher. And as Nick's saying there, the altitude will it basically become higher and you'll get there as you go. For yourself, what kind of attitude did you have when you first came into the fitness space and training yourself to start with?
Mate, at the beginning I was going to mention this, but it's like, for me personally, I'm sure you got your own story regarding this, but me personally, when it came to training, I did have the right attitude to train, but I didn't have the right attitude with everything else. So, I was blinded by my lack of experience with the stuff outside the gym. So my attitude in the gym was smash, 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 destroy my body, do every workout that you can imagine, kill myself basically in the gym. But I didn't have the right attitude outside of the gym. And that is unfortunately what a lot of I've seen in my own clients. And we were just talking before this that, you've had similar experiences.
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, mine was similar to yours. I'd smash myself in the gym. I remember going on a holiday when I was 18, and it was the first holiday I was going on my own to Lanzarote. Love Lanzarote, beautiful place.
The third time you've been there?
Second. Only the second. Okay. I would move there though. So it was when I went to Lanzarote, and my attitude was I was smashing myself in the gym. Rain, snow or shine, I was out in my home-built gym with all my rusted equipment, feeling like an absolute god. But then it came down to the dietary side of it. And the dietary side, immediately my attitude moved to the elimination factors. What can I eliminate out of my life to make myself get the results I want? And I was constantly training, but then I wasn't fueling. So then I had that problem where I'd just run out of energy throughout the day to stay consistent with a diet. And I'd just obliterate myself. My schoolwork suffered. My mental health suffered. A lot of things started to crumble down because I wasn't factoring in that actually you can see training exercise as a positive thing, but if you flip the switch and you don't fuel yourself properly, it can really make it difficult to concentrate actually focus and engage on what you're doing. So I've been down that road. Like, you smash yourself in the gym and you don't focus on the other factors, which is the attitude towards your own diet. And if we're going in with elimination diet attitude, realistically, the attitude towards training is probably elimination too. And you're always thinking, what's the best thing to do, rather than what's the best for me.
Elimination's the worst.
100%.
Like, I get you have to eliminate things, but when you think of your entire journey as you're sacrificing, like, yeah, okay, David Goggins says do that. Sacrifice, discipline, like, just suck it up. It sucks. Like, you don't enjoy your life. You don't enjoy the process. You need to add things to your life and not eliminate, because the only way you can make change that is positive in your journey. But I tell you what, your attitude can change over time. As like, for example, what did you do when you were younger? You were rugby.
I played rugby, football.
First.
I played football first, and then went into rugby,
so
and then back to football.
Big change between the two, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's like, actually
because rugby's different to football, right? In terms of the performance and like the size you need and the strength and the power.
Yeah, and even there, mental headspace. I still see football as a way that you get away with a lot in football, like in terms of discipline. There's less discipline in the sport of football than there is in rugby. Now, some people may disagree with me here, but I think there is much less discipline in the game of football than there is rugby, dictated by coaching and also the officiating side of it. But
they both involve diving. But one's allowed, one's not.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, football gets away with it too much.
Yeah. And then people see it. But the discipline that you can invoke through doing certain sports or certain engagements, certain hobbies, it can then propel other areas as well. For example, I used to play squash with my mates on a Friday. Loved a bit of squash. Great game. Squash. Really fast paced. It's one where you hit.
I've not played it, but it looks brutal.
It's great. It's so good. Now, squash is all about positioning. But mentally, you have to be on it when you're playing that game. Because if you start to sway and waver from the middle line too much, you're just chasing the ball around. We can then relate that to kind of training and dietary stuff, because it's almost that as a metaphor that if you're not staying on that middle line and you keep wavering left and right when you get distracted where that ball goes, you're always going to be in that inconsistent state. Whereas if you stand in the middle, you have full control of the court, and you can understand exactly what training mechanisms you need, dietary mechanisms you need. For example, had a client literally few months ago now, and lovely person, but the thing is, their attitude when they came in just wasn't right. They were doing it for someone else. They came in and trained. They said recently broke up with a partner. They were trying to help themselves at the same time, but they were also looking for their next person to be with, and they were like, I need to look absolutely jacked for other people to find me attractive. And I'm like, realistically, that's not a reason to come in and train, because already you're externally giving away your motivation.
Do you know what? No, I mean, I disagree a little bit. Not to shit on it, but like, it's okay reason to train, but is it sustainable? Like, past a certain point?
I wouldn't say so.
Because I've had people that come to me with a heartbreak, and they train and they eat better and they get fantastic results because of it. It's a massive, powerful motivator. And then 3 months later, they kind of heal and they recover from it, and then they lose that motivation again because now they have no external motivation.
Yeah.
But it helped him initially, so it is a good catalyst.
As long as that external motivation you're getting from that instance is bringing an internal motivation to continue doing it.
Yes, I agree.
That's where I would say it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But when you're coming in with an attitude, for me, it's you're giving away your motivation for other people to give you recollection, for an instance.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people you see in commercial gyms like Pure Gym who always looking around in sessions. Always, their head's on a swivel. I'm like, mate, you haven't got a defender on your back. You're not trying to press away from goal. Like, they're just standing there looking around, seeing if people are noticing what they're doing.
We can tell you're football mad today.
I am football mad today.
Because England actually made it in somehow. How the hell did they do that?
Might be coming home.
You just jinxed it, man. It's not coming home. We're shit. We're going home with nothing.
Okay.
Hopefully we win.
Well, we'll see. But this is like, from that perspective, it's... people aren't in there just getting on with their training for their internal cues. I always train with headphones for the specific reason I get distracted, and when I'm training with headphones on, I'm just in my zone.
Okay, so here's something for you. Let's take, when's the last time you did like a cycle workout?
Week and a half ago.
Tempo? Were you pushing yourself? Was it quite...
I went for a pacing workout.
Disgusting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Disgusting. Would you be able to do that if you didn't have a triathlon coming up?
I'd probably be less inclined.
Yeah. So external motivator, the event, has given you motivation to do something. External extrinsic motivation is not a problem. It's not a bad thing. It's like, as you were saying as well, like if you don't have the internal motivation alongside it, you're building a castle without a structure underneath. It just crumbles, you know?
Do Do you remember when we did our that first seminar day that we did at Hammerson?
Yeah.
What was one thing you said to one of the gentlemen there? Because he came with you the question. He was like, "How do I get back into running?"
Oh yeah, no.
What was the advice you gave him? Because I think it'd be really useful for people watching.
I don't know, man. Like, it's so simple, isn't it? And I think we've got something to say about it in a second. But we had this guy who's quite high up in the company, decent guy. Like, I forgot his name now. Actually. PJ, yeah, lovely guy. And he asked us like directly, like, can't get back into running. Can't figure out why. And then we just basically said, sign up to a running group and just get in front of people that run. And
also the key thing you said there, which is important, sign up for an event.
Yeah.
Because you have a focal point to train for. And that already puts for example, we go back to schooling. The reason people put so much work into schooling is because you had exams coming up. You had a date in the diary. As soon as you go out into the big wide world, the things that motivate you are deadlines and then planning in like events.
Deadlines never motivated me.
They never motivated you. I found deadlines motivate me.
Until the last 12 hours.
You were a last minute kind of guy.
I panicked.
Yeah, those late nights at uni.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but deadlines never really pressured me until it was really at the end.
Like crunch time.
Yeah, and I think for me it was just the time was too long, the deadline. If anything, you need to shorten the deadline a little bit.
What would you give as a good spectrum for that? Personally, I've got an answer to this. What would you give as a good, like, how long would you do a deadline for a training deadline? Like a training goal deadline?
A training goal deadline?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it depends how big it is. Like, obviously with the Land's End thing, that's more of a 6-month goal.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I would say 3 months is perfect because there's a reason why we say 12 weeks, 90-day transformation, you know, because there's something about 90 days that gives someone enough fuel to know it's quite soon, but it's still far enough away. Mm-hmm. And you can make a lot of difference in 12 weeks. Like when we're doing boxing fights, you start fight camp about 12 to 16 weeks before you fight. You don't train like a madman and spar everyone before that, like, and just beat the shit out of each other all the time. You do this like progressively 12 weeks before. And then once you're done, you relax, you recover, come back into it another time.
And you have those breaks in between. I think a lot of people tend to go all out before. And realistically, you need 12-week bouts of goals. And I tend to do, I break mine down. I normally say, as you say, the 90-day roll is normally what we do with our clients. We also do monthly goals, because I think monthly goals over a 4-week period. The problem people make, they don't have the attainability of the goals. So your attitude drops when you don't hit a goal.
Yes.
And I think that's something that creates a lot of demotivation in people, that they waver so much away from their goal.
Sad, though. That's sad. That's really hard to train in someone without like time. Like people need to be more patient. Like if you're more patient with your progression, then you will fail and you'll accept the fail better. If you're just not patient at all, you're going to fail and then just feel completely collapsed.
What for yourself was one of the favourite 12-week goals you set yourself to do?
12-week goals. I mean, we say bodybuilding actually. No, that was longer though. I do 4 months then. As I said, I've done slightly bigger goals than I probably could have done, and I've always been driven by bigger goals. But if we're not talking like military, which is obviously like more 2-year goals, then yeah, bodybuilding, where you're gonna stand on stage naked, basically with the shorts on, in front of 2,000 people, and they're all telling you to smile, and you're like this. I can't, I'm shaking. Like you're getting cramp in your chest and you're seeing it start to do this. You're like, fuck. Yeah.
So bodybuilding.
You know that's coming up.
Yeah.
And so you're like, damn, I need to be on my diet. Oh shit, I'm about to have a donut. No, I can't. Throw it away. For example.
Mad, isn't it? I mean, probably for mine it's a triathlon. The first ever triathlon I did. That was 16 weeks or 14 weeks, but that was one of the best goals I've ever set myself. Because you can then strategize backwards. And we do this with our clients as well in our program, that we work backwards with our clients, because there's no point going to a coach and being like, I want this, and this, and be like, we'll do this week. I haven't really got an idea where we are in 90 days. But like we look ahead for what we're doing as well, and we kind of give a bit of scope so you can see where you're going to end up.
Yeah, and I think the key as well is not to not just book an event or necessarily, but like don't come into the gym with a trainer or online with a trainer and say, I want to lose 10 pounds. It's the most boring goal ever. You're not going to do it. Like, I've not met one client who's had a weight goal and that is it feel motivated by it.
That's why we do training and we do weight goals.
Yeah.
You have to have something, because the thing is, when you come in for sessions with PTs or you go into the gym and train, a lot of the time that you probably right now listening to this are probably thinking the days that I'm demotivated is because I don't really know what I'm doing in the gym. Let's be real. You don't think there is an accomplishment to be had in the gym by going to the gym, which is why so many people sit in their cars, mill about and go, well, I could go to the gym, but well, it's really rainy. Can't.
Yeah.
The problem is, you don't look at your training session and go, I'm excited for this because I'm going to hit a PR on this, which means I'm closer to this goal.
And then all your focus is on getting rid of calories, but not focusing on performance better, like performing better. Yeah. So you're going, right, I'm going to have 60% of my food from shit food, but it's under my calories. Whereas if you're trying to focus on an event, you're going to think, right, I'm going to be under my calories, but I'm going to have 80% of my food is good food. And then I'll feel better. Like,
apologies for interrupting the podcast. We know you're getting fully engrossed into this episode, and we really appreciate you stopping on the video on YouTube or on Spotify if you found us through one of the search pages. Make sure to leave a review and a subscription if you haven't already. But we just wanted to interject a point here that me and Nick have 15 years of coaching experience between us, and it's only getting better as we've got better guests on the podcast. The only way we can do that, though, is with the growth of our program that we've just released. We've got a 12-month Perform Well program, which has just dropped, and we'd love you guys to get involved in it. If you want to learn more details, make sure to head to the description, as we've got our website in there, which can give you a full overlay of the program. We're looking to help career-driven professionals, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and anyone dominate their life by improving their lifestyle. Me and Nick like to claim ourselves as experts in this area, and if you want to check out some of our other transformations, I'm sure you do. We've got some amazing people who have performed so well off the back of this program. Have a cracking day, and we really appreciate your time. Let's get back to the podcast. You know what I've just thought there? What? Do you think, this is genuinely a debating question, do you think people have a better attitude towards their training and diet, a better attitude towards their diet if they're training for an event as opposed to just going in and losing weight?
100%. But this is like, obviously you gotta think of the broad picture, social life and stuff like that. If it's at the extent of their social life completely suffering and it makes them feel shit and, into the mental health aspect and whatever, then no, it's not a good idea. But if it supports that, then 100%. Very, very important. Weight loss is so much worse.
Because I found, even for myself training for my next triathlon and the one prior, it made it easier to eat a better diet.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a trainer. Yeah. Like, it made it so much easier to make decisions because I was like, oh yeah, I can eat this bagel right here, but I know some sourdough bread is going to give me much more energy throughout the day to fuel everything that I'm doing. Whereas if you just turn around to me and said, can you cut a bit of weight? I'd be like, but I can still have that bagel, can't I? Like, can I eat that bagel? Still want that bagel.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem that I face is I have that association between exercise, sport and training. We need to fuel it for performance. But if you're just telling me, you've got to cut a bit of body fat, I'm like, that's boring.
Well, there's a saying, right? If you change the way you see things, the things you see change. Yeah.
Like that.
That is perspective.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So if you go, rather than lose weight because I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to do an event and lose weight for the event so I'll perform better.
We spoke about this.
Massive difference.
Did you see for me, for my triathlon, I was, my shape, I wasn't in bad shape, but I have been in the best shape since doing my triathlon and training for a specific goal because my attention came away from lose weight, and went to whatever happens, you're doing it all for performance.
Yeah.
And I felt so good.
And you don't go in the gym 4 times a week doing weightlifting. You do 2 times a week or 3 times a week, and you still get the gains.
Which is much more manageable.
Thinking, why the fuck was I doing 4?
Yeah. People just...
wasting my time.
You're chasing... a lot of the time, you're just chasing the gym because that is what the norm. Yeah. If you turn... Like, the amount of people I've had turn around to me, but like, I want to lose weight, I want to get to the gym. I'm like, but do you want to go to the gym for training purposes, or are you going to the gym because the things you link with weight loss is the gym? The amount of people that come to us and they want to get into the gym for weight loss, that's not where you lose the weight. And that's the mad thing about it. Yeah. You don't lose the weight in the gym.
And don't get me wrong, I've thought this way before.
Yeah.
Like I have. I've thought, come into the gym, do strength training, control your diet, you'll lose weight. And then I realized, like, I don't feel motivated myself doing the same thing. And then I was like, well, then if I'm not feeling motivated, why would my clients feel motivated? I'm doing this every day. They're not. So this is different. So I then did events, which I've done all my life, but I kept looking back and thinking, every time I had a goal in the past, I've performed better and I felt better. Yeah. And then I realized, actually, clients need the same thing. You guys need the same thing. And not every trainer is going to give you that. Like, you need someone that knows how to run an event, like ourselves. You need someone that knows how to train for it, how you can manipulate your nutrition to help you with it, and do it in the way that doesn't affect your social life and makes you feel good. And you can do that.
It's all about balancing as well. And this is why you get coaches, because people sitting there right now are going to be, oh my God, this is so much information. Like, what do I do with this? Yeah. The thing is, in retrospect, you can do it. You just need a little guide. Yeah. You need a guide for 90 days, which you can have. And those... Do you love my little plug? So you can have a guide for like 90 days to get you where you need to get to. Man. But it does work. Like, we've got a coach ourselves at the minute, and it's so useful just bouncing ideas off him to get a perspective, because you get another person's viewpoint who's been there, who's done that, who's succeeded. And the same thing for us. We have succeeded in our events. Yeah, we haven't won our events, but we're not here trying to be the GB athlete.
Fucking no one won.
Which one did you win?
In my mind.
Oh, in your mind.
And then I lost them. But anyway.
But that's the thing. We do ours for the participation. I'm not here trying to be a GB athlete.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be in that happy middle ground where you're training to enjoy yourself. And that's what a lot of people are lacking. And I think it's more about directive. If I was going to give someone a takeaway tip, one key takeaway tip from this, sit down and write every single goal that you would like to achieve in the next 6 months, and write it down on a bit of paper. Then put them in priority order and see which ones are the ones that you prioritize the most. And then from there, you can pick out one or two of them to actually work on, because a lot of the time we have so many goals in our head that our attitude just becomes confused. And you can't focus on the goals you want to do.
Yeah, and then okay, let's think of another way around this as well, because everyone's different, right? There's people that are logical minded, people that are emotionally minded, people that are something else minded, and they will have different ways they go for goals. If you're one of those people that is more like conceptual in your mind and more visual, have a think about someone that you like the look of, that you want to emulate after. We all do that with certain role models and stuff. Find someone that you want to look after. If that's me, then cool. Dan. And then just think, what did they do? What do they do? Okay, they do this. Right, okay, so I want to be more like that. So I'm going to try and go down that road a little bit. CrossFit body, for example. CrossFit athletes are insane shape. Jacked, lean, etc. You don't have to do CrossFit, but if you see that body type and you want that body type, then there is some method in the madness. You might want to try and go down that road. If you like look at bodybuilders, go down that road. If you want to do strength training and be a powerlifter and you like that build, go down that road.
It's mad though, isn't it? And you're saying that, and it's ignited something in my brain. A lot of the sports, and this is the swimmer's body illusion, I don't know if you've heard about the swimmer's body illusion, is normally it's not the sport that picks you. Once you pick a sport, it's the physique that's associated with the sport that gets selected. Rugby players have a specific build. If you're going from football to rugby, I got stockier when I started to play rugby because it's a different type of sport. But swimmers, most likely, will be broad, they'll be standing, lats are widespread, normally have really big backs because of the sport they play.
Sounds like me.
Golfers, normally slim built. Yes.
I'm not even that good of a swimmer.
He's like a fish.
I haven't swum for like months, man.
Golfers, a lot more leaner. There's a lot more power in the swinger there.
Golfers got a shit physique, right?
But I'm just saying,
there's a reason why they never take the top off.
Well, exactly. But golfer doesn't have that physique. Footballers, athletic, slim built nowadays. But whatever sport you play, you normally get the physique. Same thing with training. You go into powerlifting, you're more likely going to get a lot stockier. You'll probably put on a little bit more body fat because your focal point is different.
But remember, that's what training is. It's a stimulus.
It is a stimulus.
And the stimulus you put on it develops the body that way. Yeah. Golfers will lots of rotation, so their core is going to be slightly more developed in certain areas that you would get from like a normal person that does sit-ups all the time. Yeah, and you can't get that build unless you do that movement. What better than doing the sport?
100%.
Align the mind.
Align the mind.
Align the mind.
Align the mind. Align the mind.
One of my clients is a golfer.
Right.
I think handicap 7, really good.
That doesn't mean anything.
Handicap
to
7
me.
is really good.
Okay.
Yeah. He did a 160 kilo deadlift yesterday.
Damn.
He's the most jacked golfer.
He is a jacked golfer.
I've ever seen.
He must have a mean golf swing on him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of power.
I would imagine he's so, actually. I would imagine he does, yeah.
I'd say so.
Yeah, golf is, I mean, for the golfers out there, I'm nowhere near a pro, I can tell you that. But he's definitely, it's definitely about having that power and that accuracy and precision when you're actually on the field, knowing where the ball's going to go, and then the way you hit the club, and then the way you fucking angle it, and then the wind, and then the clubs you're using, like using a flexi one, a stiff one. Oh my God.
There's a lot to golf.
And then which clubs you use. Do you use the iron? Do you use the 9, the 7, the 5, the 3, the 6?
On that very interesting golf chat, I just want to summarise what we've spoken about on the podcast.
Golf is interesting. Golf is interesting.
No, but I want to summarise what we've spoken about. So your attitude is very much the driving force between you getting a good result and getting a meh result. And I don't think anyone wants a meh result. There's no point getting a meh result. You want quick results that you can attain quickly, and you can be in that mindset to do it again. Because that's what that attitude develops. And the same thing, I've got another triathlon and I'm going to do exactly the same thing I did in the first one, because my attitude was right and I learned that. And if I didn't, I'd learn from my errors. So make sure you build on your attitude. And the ways you can do that is firstly, reflect on where you are now, reflect on where you want to get to, and then work backwards.
And your shit attitude is the reason why you're failing. That's the number one reason. Nothing else is making you fail except for your attitude. That is it.
Agree completely. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys. We appreciate that. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. We appreciate it. We're nearly at 100 subscribers on YouTube, and we will catch you later.